Dear students, welcome you all. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Gopalaswamy PU College, MYSURU. Students, in my previous session, we have learned about classes and objects and how do we represent objects, how do we represent class, and apart from that, we have discussed class definition, how do you define a class with one or two examples. Now in this session, I am going to explain classes and objects with the help of a programming. Now in previous session, all of you know how to define a class, and this class, it has data members as well as member functions. So here these data members and member functions can be declared or can be defined in three levels of access specifiers. Now let me give the definition of these three access specifiers. Access specifiers as I told you yesterday, these access specifiers it gives the scope of data members and member methods and data members and member methods. And there are three access specifiers. They are private, protected, and public access specifier. Now let us see the difference between these three levels of access specifiers. So these private access specifiers, if you declare any variables or member functions, the meaning of private is those members and member functions, data members, can be accessed only within this class where it has been declared. So the definition is as that this is starts with the keyword. Keyword is private. Private is a keyword, and the meaning is data members can be accessed by the member functions, or member functions declared within the class. So this is the definition of private. Private access specifier means that it starts with a reserved word or keyword private, and any variable declared under this or function declared under this, it can be accessed by only those functions or member functions defined or declared within the same class. Now you know how to declare this. Yesterday I have seen the example. See, we declare this private is a keyword colon, and we are declaring variables here int x comma y and double balance. See, these are examples of private keyword, private access specifier. Now look into that. What is protected now? These protected data members, this is the members declared under protected or accessed by only member functions only member functions defined in the class, and second point is that it is also accessed by friend of a class. Talking about friend function, friend of a class, and it is also accessed by member function, derived from base class. Students, now what is the definition of protected access specifier? This specifier started with the as same keyword protected, and here these the members are data members and member functions defined under protected. It can be accessed by member functions of the same class and also friend of a class, and one more is member function derived from base class. Students, these two concepts you are going to learn in further chapters or forthcoming sessions. So this is protected access specifiers. Now we look into that. What is public access specifier? What are public access specifier? Again, as usual, this starts with a keyword public. This starts with a keyword and public, and any data member or member functions declared under this are accessed by a member function outside a class. So what is the meaning of this? Suppose if any member function is defined outside a class, even these public members can also be accessed by member function which are defined and declared outside a particular class. So that is an example. Already you know that we have to write with the public a keyword, and here we are going to write data members. For example, int x, or I say a function void input semicolon void display is one more function. So students, so this is public access specifier. Generally, normally in programming, we used to write all member functions under public access specifier. Okay. Next, as I have told, I have used the word here accessed by, isn't it? So what is the meaning of accessed by? Used by. So here, these public members or these data members or member function declared under public, which can be accessed by through an operator. I write it here. It is called as direct member access operator. That is nothing but a dot. What is this? Here, to access the data members outside a class, we are using an operator, data member. This is called as data member access operator, that is dot. Let me write the syntax of this. Member of a class which are accessed by an operator, dot operator. Here the syntax. What is the syntax of this operator? Class object dot data member and semicolon, or class object dot member function or member function. For an example, if you declare a variable under public access specifier, for example int x or void input. So how do we access these two members? By looking at the syntax, we can write class object dot data members. First step is we have to create an object of a class. For example, here obj is name of an object of a class dot data member x, and similarly I can write obj dot input. So this is how we access data members or member functions outside a class with the help of an operator dot. After this, let me explain how do we define a class and how do you create an object of a class through a simple program. Let us write a simple program, addition of two numbers by using classes and object. Now here a program to add two numbers, and all of you know how to start the program. Here we'll start with hash include iostream.h hash include conio.h. Next, immediately after this, we have to define a class. I say class is a reserved word, and here class name is addition, open the bracket. Next, we have to declare variables under private access specifier. Now I say private colon, I say int x comma y comma z. So here this is private access specifier. Next, after this, I am going to write a member function, it under public access specifier. Here I am write first function void input, and here this is a function. How to write the function definition? Function definition I am going to write. I am using this function to access or accept the value for these two variables. So here I say cout enter two numbers, you here see in variables x and y. I am closing this function here, input function. Next, I am going to write one more function here, that is void sum function. I am using this function to add these two values or two numbers. I say z is a variable, x plus y. I am closing this. This is one function void sum. Next, I am using one more function here, void display, closing this. Here I want to print the result of this operation, or I want to print sum of two numbers. I say cout sum equals variable z. I am closing this. So after this, we have to close this class here. So this class has to be closed here with semicolon. Students, so far you have written a program in different way or different method. But here, look into the program here. We start with header files, and here the first section we are going to declare a class. This is what you have learned in previous session. Class name, data members, under private access specifier and member functions. I have used here 3 different functions to compute addition of 2 numbers, and this function, input function, here have to accept 2 numbers. This is the function name. Open the bracket, close the bracket here. Within this I have to accept the values for these 2 variables. Next function, I am using sum function here. This is to add the values of x and y, and another function display, and a closing. So this is not a complete program, students, because this only a part of a program, and you might have learned you have learned in last year, if you want to execute any C++ program, the program must have main function. So that is missing here. So we have to write main function after declaring this class. So now let me write the main function of this. Void main is a function. Normally first line we used to say clear screen. Next, in this main function, the first line or after this, the first step is to create an object of a class addition. Now we have defined a class addition here, and the object of a class has to be created to access this data members or member function. So the first step in main function is to create an object. How do we get an object here? Object with the help of a syntax. First is a class name. Addition is the class name. I have used addition as the class name here. This class name space obj. This is identifier. This is identifier. So or name of an object here. Addition. Here addition is name of a class, space, object, semicolon. Now this is object of a class addition. So this is what you have learned here. First define the class, and the class opened here, and a class closed here with a semicolon. Next, under main function, the first step is to clear an object of a particular class. How do we do that? With the help of a syntax, name of a class, space, object name. Similarly, here you can create more number of objects, depends on your application or program. So here in this example, I have created only one object name is obj. Next, how do we access the data members of a class which are declared under public? In just few minutes back, I had given a syntax. How do we access it? So we are accessing the data member. The first one is, this is called object name dot operator. This is dot operator, and we have to call these functions or one by one. The first is input function. I say obj dot input semicolon. Similarly, next function is obj dot sum, and next function is obj dot display, and normally we write get ch at the end, and I'm closing this. So student, this makes a complete program of addition of 2 numbers using class object in C++. And as all of you know that each and every C++ program must have main function, that is here. And whenever there's a program with the help of class and object, either you can write void main first or class next, that's also okay, or you can also define the class at the beginning, and after closing the class you can also write main function. Now all of you know how this program will be executed. So first, as soon as you compile the program, when you execute the program, the compiler goes to main function. It executes the statements written here line by line. So in this example, clear screen. Next, addition space obj. So first step is it going to create an object of a class addition. After this, next statement is obj dot input. So the control from here, transfer from here to the input function inside the class. We are accessing this member function through dot operator, that is direct access operator. So here input, with the help of this, the computer, we are going to it accept the two values of x and y with the help of cin statement. Then again the control goes back to this line. Immediately after this, some function. Again from here the control transfer to some function. It does execute this function. Again with the help of this is going to add two numbers. Is going to add two numbers. So here then again when it comes to display function, it execute this one here is going to print or the result of this. So normally, so this is, so what is the output of this program here? Suppose in the example it has two numbers. We entered value as x as 2 and 3. It accepts the values here, and inside this is going to add 2 plus 3. Result is 5. It will be stored here. So when you print this, is going to print the output as 5. So this is how to write a program with the help of classes and objects. So in the students, in this example, what we have explained is how to define a class. This I already had explained in the previous session, and here this we have to is important here. This is the place where an object has been created of a particular class. So this is how to write a program with the help of classes and objects. Dear students, I will come back to you with some more examples and concepts in my next session. Thank you very much.